All right, this is John King with KGVO News. I'm speaking with Erica Shoup, and she's a teacher of Latin over at Bozeman High School. I understand that you're involved somehow with these winter storms that come through every year. So tell us a little bit about how you're involved.
That's right, John. My Latin classes here at Bozeman High School, and I, along with Latin Club now, have helped the Weather Channel develop a list alphabetically from A to Z of winter storm names. This is the third year that the Weather Channel is publishing names for the country, and it's actually pretty controversial. NOAA and the National Weather Service have nothing to do with it. It's just the Weather Channel.
So how did you get involved with helping the Weather Channel pick the names?
So we noticed that the storms 3 years ago started out Athena, Brutus, then Caesar. So we were wondering what was going on. It caught our attention as classicists, and then we decided to keep investigating and realized that the Weather Channel was going kind of all over the gamut with where they were selecting their names from. We proposed and sent them a random email to suggest that we might assist them and help them the following year by just making the names classical. They had started pulling from Norse mythology, Finnish mythology, Chinese mythology, and we thought that this was a really good modern application for Greek and Roman culture, mythology, language, and a good place for a dead language to live.
Now you get involved. You bring your dead languages, or Greek's not technically dead, right? But you bring your classical languages to the show. And then how does the name Bozeman pop up on the list for this year?
Right. So basically, we came up with 2 years' worth of a lot of A to Z names, and they used all of our names. We work with Winter Storm Central at the Weather Channel. And then this year, when they released their names on October 1st, live on live television, we came to school early because it was being released in Eastern time zone. And my students and I learned of the surprise that the Weather Channel had for us. They decided to thank us and honor us by using Winter Storm Bozeman instead of our Winter Storm Bella that we had for the letter B. So it was quite a surprise. It was an honor. We are humbled by it. We actually would have liked it if it had stayed Bella, but we are looking forward to Winter Storm Bozeman.
I'm sure there's lots of moms with little girls named Bella that would be a little upset if it was a horrible storm.
Yeah, that's right. Bella means beautiful. It can also be plural for the word for war. But we thought it was a good selection, but we'll pass it on. Maybe we'll use it next year.
Right.
We're unsure if we're going to keep helping the Weather Channel or not for years to come, but it's promising, and it's a great partnership that we have. Obviously, it's gratis, and it's a real-life application for all my students to see Latin in use, and a Fortune 500 company needing their assistance in little old Bozeman.
Very, very cool. So when it comes to this most recent storm, I understand that it has a name that you picked out, your team there.
That's right. We selected Astro, and Astro is Greek for star. Astronomy, astrological, of course, are English derivatives. And that was named this morning by the Weather Channel. Winter Storm Astro is responsible for our Arctic blast and polar air invasion, as they're calling it, and our huge swing of temperatures and all the snow that has landed in the area. Do you
know how bad a storm has to be before they give it a name? Is it enough old people on porches complaining about it, and then?
Yeah, unfortunately not. And there are some storms that go unnamed. But basically, the requirements are it has to impact within 3 days. It has to be a significant disruption to road and air travel, life-threatening conditions from wind, snow, ice, and cold temperatures like we have here. And this storm actually is impacting already 4.7 million people. The winter naming is 2 million people is needed instead of 4.7. So we're well above the criteria for naming a winter storm with impacting the population. And then the area as well. What's needed for a winter storm to be named is about 400,000 square kilometers, and this is produced by the Weather Channel. but already this winter storm Astro is affecting 525,000 square kilometers. So it's a huge system, as we all know, because we're in the middle of it, and we're unsure how long it will last.
All right. Well, let me speak with Marika there.
Sure. Here's Marika. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Erica.
Hi.
Hi, Marika. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. A little cold.
A little cold. Yeah, that's kind of the subject and the problem today. So I wanted to get your take on the National Weather or the Weather Channel changing the name to Bozeman. Were you happy about that, or are you a little worried that people might hate the name Bozeman going forward?
I'm both happy and a little worried. I mean, what I'd really like Bozeman to be is a big storm dumping lots of powder for skiing and such. But I'd feel kind of bad if it hurt some people.
Yeah, for sure. So were you happy with their decision to change the name that y'all had picked out and turn it to Bozeman?
I think it was definitely pretty cool. I've always been a fan of the name Bella, but it was kind of cool to get Bozeman's name out there in America.
Yeah. So as far as the word process goes for picking the names, did you have an involvement in picking the names for this year's lineup?
I personally didn't. I missed the Latin Club meeting for it. But it is a cool process because they'll just sit in here looking at names and going through dictionaries. And it does take a while, but it's a pretty cool process.
Awesome. Well, why don't you ship me over to Zach real quick?
All right, Zach?
Hello?
Hey, Zach. How are you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. So I understand that you're in the same class. Did you help to prepare any of the names for this year's winter storms?
No, I wasn't there either at that meeting.
No, both missed out, huh? So are there any names that you would like to add for the next year's docket?
Well, I know this year we have storm named Neptune, and my Latin name in class is Neptune, so I think that's a pretty good choice.
Well, that's a pretty good choice. So what if it ends up being a pretty horrible storm? Are you going to change your name, or?
That might be a little bit downing, but I think I'll survive.
One would hope that Neptune could bring enough moisture, right?
Yep.
You'd think the god of the sea could pull it out. So tell me real quick about your Latin class. Do you like it? A lot of kids don't have the experience of being able to take a Latin class.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. We get to learn a lot of new stuff. It also helps with our English, spelling, and just figuring out what words mean.
Do you feel that Latin is relevant in a modern context?
Especially because you get to figure out what hard words mean because you know kind of what some of the Latin words mean, and it helps you figure out what some of the bigger words mean.
All right. And I imagine you're really good at deciphering Harry Potter magic.
No, not really, but I probably could if I tried.
All right. Well, hey, thanks so much for your time, Zach.
Yep.